Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you're all here. We're so blessed tonight. I am actually about ready. We're going to talk to Lisa Wilber here Said the Lady with the Blue Hair. The book is awesome. I've listened to it 3 times, I think. Okay, so I don't sit and read a book real well, sorry. I'd rather be walking and listening, and after meeting you and everything, we'll get into all that. The book is wonderful. I'm Jennifer Johnson, not to steal any limelight or anything, but TTR Networking is To the Rescue Networking. We are an organization we have networking groups that meet every week, and we're building relationships, and it's been going on for 12 years. We're all about connecting, and I met Lisa a couple months ago in Salt Lake City for an event, and had no idea what all the stuff that she did and does. And sure, you all know her name, and if you don't, let me read a little bit about Lisa M Wilber. She was named Avon's Woman of Enterprise, the top honor given to independent representatives by the company. She's also been included numerous times on the 50 most influential people in direct sales list, and earned Avon's Yellow Rose of Courage. Other awards including, include being named the top female network marketer in the world. That just blows me away. And voted the Ambitious Women's Choice Award. Lisa has been selling and team building for Avon since 1981, when she was 18 years old. I know I've heard that a few times. When Avon introduced their network marketing program entitled Leadership, Lisa was able to attain the top level of the achievement within 15 months of joining the program. Wow, unbelievable. She and her team have consistently performed in the top 10 in team sales volume in the United States for over 25 years. Did I see that happen the other day too? What did I see?
Yes.
Number 5,
Yeah.
I saw you post that? Yeah.
Yes.
I tried to add it to our thing without sounding silly, but I think it was amazing. So, attaining her professional status with the National Speakers Association, she has conducted seminars around the world, including Canada, Ireland, the UK, and across the United States. Lisa Wilber is the author of 3 books. I didn't even know that. I was just thinking that was this new book was your only endeavor, and that's amazing. And the co-author of a dozen more, oh my goodness, including her trademark anthology book series entitled A View from the Top, which includes chapters by over 60 top leaders in Avon. Oh, wow. Her current best-selling, award-winning book is Said the Lady with the Blue Hair, co-authored by Jeff C. West, who is on this call tonight. Thank you so much, Jeff, for being here. Thank you, Lisa. Unbelievable. I was blown away by some of this. I cannot even. And then when I met you a couple months ago, I mean, there's nothing that made me think this woman's got all kinds. I mean, not that you were very nice and wonderful, but you don't. I mean, we were just so comfortable sitting there with you. How are you doing, by the way?
I'm awesome. You know, when I go to a meeting like that, though, my one aim in life is to get shushed from the stage. So you probably shouldn't sit near me. We didn't get in trouble too bad, though, did we?
No, we didn't. And I actually had a couple pictures, I think, of you that you took of me, that I think appeared on your page because we were all standing by the promptings sign or something. So it was amazing. I mean, and I think about it, you're just such a normal person, you know, you have blue hair. I mean, let's get real. That's not normal. We do have a few of our audience today that thought it would be. I even suggested it, and I didn't even wear the blue hair.
I love that, Nicole and Nancy.
And Jeff says, define normal.
Right. Yeah. Normal's boring. Yeah, normal's boring.
But tell us now. you look fabulous all the time. I know that's your word, but you've been doing this since 1981. Tell us a little bit about that, how you started. Can you do that? Tell us a
Sure.
little bit about.
Just don't do the math because I'm no longer following along in the number thing. I've decided to opt out of the
Okay.
increasing number thing. I'm not into that anymore. But I moved to Guam because I actually quit high school to marry a sailor because evidently I'm an idiot. And I mean that in the best possible way, right? But when I got to Guam, I saw all the other wives not working, but I had always worked. I worked since I was like 12 and doing different jobs and babysitting and waitressing and stuff all along in school. So I wanted money right away. And I remembered the Avon lady coming to my house and I didn't see anybody selling Avon. I saw some people doing like Tupperware and Tri-Chem paint parties, but I didn't see anybody doing Avon. So I thought, well, you know what, this might be different enough that it would go over good. So I wrote to the company and they said if I sent them $35, they'd send me a kit. And so that's what I did. And right. And I did pretty well over there. My number one selling item, you're going to laugh, was nail polish to the sailors. They went over and gave it to their little honeys when they were stopping in the ports on the ship. They said, honey, honey, because I had to ask because I'm like, I don't mean to be weird about this. I said to one of the sailors, I said, but what exactly are you doing with 60 nail polishes, right? You know, what exactly? And he
Yeah.
said, so that was yeah, I was 18, 19, so that was a eye-opening experience. I'm from a little dinky town in Massachusetts, but I sold there, and then my husband liked to dock his ship at more than one port, so I had to cut his anchor adrift, and I I ended up in Mississippi, so and I picked that on the map, which yeah, in retrospect was kind of stupid, but um I didn't want to go home because my folks were like, you shouldn't have married him. So I knew if I went home, it would be, I told you so. So
Mhm.
I just literally picked a place on the map and I moved to Gulfport, Mississippi from there. I didn't realize that you could transfer your Avon account, but I have sold nonstop since 81. On the side playing though, I also didn't think about doing it full time because I didn't meet anybody who was doing direct sales full time. So normally I would be doing like I did secretary work or I worked in a convenience store. I did other jobs, but I always did Avon on the side ever since I was 18. Um, Avon themselves don't have me as many years as I actually have because I didn't know you could transfer. I kept restarting.
Oh, okay.
So I sold in Mississippi for a couple of years, and I moved to South Carolina for a year and a half. That's where I think was like the low point. As I worked third shift as in a convenience store in South Carolina, and I think I was getting what, $3.30 an hour, and you get an extra 12 cents if you work third shift. So I did, but that was an adventure. They used to get robbed all the time, so you had the die pack and the bat next to the cashier's thing and everything. That was always an adventure. And it's funny there. They would charge me if someone stole beer, and I on my shift, and I was too honest, and they'd say, "Did someone steal on your shift?" And I'd be like, "Yes, they did," and they took it out of my pay. So right, it took me a while to realize that was, being that honest wasn't good. And what I did to stop them from stealing, I took the baseball bat and when they came in and they were taking the thing, I could tell they were going to steal. I would lock the door and take the bat, tap it on the glass, and the little teenage boys would open the door and put the beer back. Effective. So, but anyway, that's I sold Avon all during that time too, never thinking that I could do this full time. And then I moved to New Hampshire, and I decided when I moved up here that I was no longer going to be a convenience store worker. There's nothing wrong with that, but I just thought if I'm ever going to step this up, I'm just going to reinvent myself because no one here knows me. So I only applied for better jobs. And the first job I applied for was an executive secretary job at a computer place. And I got the job. The guy called me and he said, he acted like it was not very much money. He says, I'm really, sorry about what we have to offer, but I can only offer you 15 and, full benefits and retirement and dental and medical and stuff. And he had no idea that I was getting 6,000 a year. It was 15,000 a year that he offered me. And I tried not to say yes so fast, but I was like, yes. Yeah, but that was a great job. And I think I had that probably 2.5 years. By the time they laid us all off, I was earning 20,000 a year in benefits. And it was a great job and I loved it. But there was a recession going on, and the department I worked for was called product development, and they let everyone go. That was actually the first time I saw a bunch of grown men cry in my life, because they were earning all 6-figure incomes. I was just the secretary. But so when I drove home, I was married to husband number 2. Don't judge me. And and right. And he actually, looking back, did me a huge favor because I came home hysterical. I mean, I was snot bubble crying. You know how it is when you're that upset that you snot bubble crying. So I was crying like that, and because husband number 2 wasn't known for his earning. He didn't like to earn money. He liked to do whatever he wanted to do. And I was the one covering the bill, so we were in a problem right away if I didn't have that job. And he said, what's the problem? And I said, well, the jobs, I don't have the job, I don't have the money. And he said, why don't you do more of that Avon thing you've been playing with? And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. I'm like, oh, I'm thinking to myself, oh, you simple man. I said, I don't know anybody selling enough Avon to pay their bills. In my district where I go to the meetings, the number one person sells as much as I need to earn. And there's a difference between what you're selling and what you're earning. And after I gave him all that stuff, all the objections, he said, just because they haven't done it, how does that mean you can't do it? And for some reason, I interpreted that whole conversation as he believed in me because he knew me. I mean, he was married to me. I'm thinking, well, certainly if he thinks I can do this, well, I must be able to do it. So I actually got this business going and ended up replacing my pay with my personal sales within a couple of years, based on the fact that he believed I could do it. It was probably a couple of years at least before I had the belief in myself. So I didn't have that belief at the beginning at all. The funny part is that he heard me tell that story on the phone one time, and I hung up and he said, you don't go around telling people that, do you? And I said, what do you mean? I said, believe it or not, that conversation we had was enough to give me the belief in myself so that I could get this whole thing going and stick with it. And he said, oh my God, I never thought you'd do anything with that. I was just saying that so you'd stop crying. It's like, and I looked him straight in the eye and I said, sometimes you just need to lie to me. Just lie, you know what I mean? But it's so funny. I wish that I had that kind of belief in myself sooner, because I was borrowing a false belief even, but it was enough. And it worked out. As far as my Avon career, I did replace my income with personal sales within probably 2.5, 3 years, and it was all out going after it. But my life changed when they came out with their network marketing program, and that was in 92. When it first came out, I didn't go for it because I thought it would be the ruination of the company. Aren't all good opportunities thought about that way at the right? So I didn't go for it, and I dragged my feet so long that by the time I actually did go for it, I had to get an exception to their clause or whatever to get in, because there was a sign-up window for this certain program. And I did that, and it was within 15 months I made it to the top of the pay plan. But that was because I was still, I mean, I was earning enough to replace the pay that I earned as the secretary, but not the benefits and all that. We were struggling pretty hard. And I thought the only way I'm going to know if I can do this and it works is if I make it to the top of the pay plan, because that's where the real money is. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to not even think about whether this is worth my time and my money and all that stuff. I am just going to work it as hard as I can till I get to the top of the pay plan. And then I'll look back and see if it was worth it. And thank goodness I did that, because of course, once I made it to the top of the pay plan, of course it was worth it. And my life changed. I got a car allowance. I've had a car allowance since 1993. Every 2 weeks since 93. I've earned over 45 all expenses paid trips from them. I've got to go around the world speaking for them. I mean, I've had an unbelievable amount of opportunities because of going after the top of the pay plan thing. So, but that's that's my story for my Avon business.
I didn't actually hear that in the other interview, so thank you for sharing that with me, or with us. I'm not here by myself, so that's pretty cool. That's very cool. Wow, I did not know that. I guess my boy, there's so many questions I have. Just it's very cool. And like I said, we were sitting there in Salt Lake City. I wasn't even thinking of, I was just like, I'm sitting next to the lady with blue hair. I can't believe it. But you did talk, and I'm not trying to talk about another interview, but I would just suggest, if anybody, you can go catch it with Promptings with Cody B. And that'll help your numbers on that one too, because you're trying to get to the top of that one. But you can go out on YouTube, and it's Promptings with Cody B. But you talk in there about the direct sales model and why you like it so much, and the relationships, and you say so many really good things in there. I'm not even really sure what the best. But I did like the fact that you say people buy from you. They do buy these great products from Avon. We all know the name Avon.
Yeah.
But you're all about building relationships, right?
Well,
thank you, Nicole. Yeah.
Truthfully, Avon is a great company. Yeah, they have a big history and it's awesome. But can you buy shampoo down the store at the 7-Eleven? Can you buy lipstick? They're commodities. So if people don't want to wait for the order to come, they could just virtually buy stuff similar almost anywhere, right? And we do have great stuff, but it's the relationship with me and my service. I think that keeps people coming back to buy from me. I was just talking to one of my customers, Carol, yesterday, and she's funny because I send her a thank you note from Send Out Cards after every single time she orders. And almost every time she says to me, she says, Lisa, I don't want you to do the thank you note this time because I would never buy from anyone else ever. I never would. And I said, oh, I'm so sorry, Carol. You'll have to just set the card aside when you get it because it's a rule. I have to send out a thank you card every time. And she said, I know you do. I was just saying that.
But so it's a habit, right? It's habitual.
Well, no, I said to her, I don't ever want her or I to forget how thankful I am for her business. So I want to make sure that every single order is acknowledged because I appreciate every single one. So matter of fact, you and I are both doing Send Out Cards, of course, as are a lot of people on the call. And I've done that for about 14 years. Revolutionized the way I do things, made it so much easier. Yes, I did thank you notes before, but it was a lot more work. So it makes it so easy and so easy to personalize
Yeah.
So like I put, when she placed the order with me, I didn't know about a coupon code that Avon was going to offer. So I held her order for a couple days so I could use the coupon code. So she got like $60 worth of free stuff. And then I screenshot the free stuff, put it on the front of the card so that when she gets the order, she won't be confused what the free stuff was. So I couldn't do that on a regular card, but send out cards makes it easy to do stuff like that.
Yes, it does. It does. And we are going to, because one of the things, I love that everybody's communicating. I guess I get sidetracked by the chat. It's so cool. They're actually talking to each other. I'm still amazed at the Zoom world. But I know I had made we're going to talk about a couple of the 7 direct sale, or the top rules for success in direct sales that are part of your book. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But I did put down in my notes, tell us about your awards. But honestly, when Peg sent me the update, or the updated intro, and I'm reading through that, I'm like, where do you start? How do you keep track of all the things that you, I mean, and it's no doubt that you're successful because you're so nice. And like I said, I sat next to you at the thing, and I think at the beginning I was, and then I was like, she's just a normal person who just has worked her butt off to get where she's at. So do you have anything on the award end? That, I'm sorry, I've got grandchildren that are trying to get in the door. So if the door flies open, all of a sudden you'll know why. Do you have one that and I know you just got, your team just got something last week. I think I mentioned it at the beginning.
Right. I think my favorite one is Women of Enterprise. There's only, I think, 30 of them ever.
Wow.
And it was they were one at a time over a 30-year period from Avon. And it just was such a honor. They choose one a year. And I'm not known for my crying, let's face that. And I actually had a hard time getting through my speech because my mother was there with me. And that was just and for some reason I had found, before I knew that I had gotten it, I had the perfect dress that year and everything. Yeah, I had a beautiful long gold dress. It was just everything happened to click at the same time that year to get that Woman of Enterprise. But I'd actually felt like I wanted that for some reason because I saw a lot of my peers get that. And I got skipped over for many years. And the year that I got it, it was just so thrilling to get. So it was like, it's like Miss America in the Avon world, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, awesome.
So it's just awesome. I think that's my favorite because of that though. And every trip that we go on, we have a reception still for the Women of Enterprise breakfast.
Very nice. Very cool. Well, I did not realize all of these things. And I think when you were talking about it, I'm thinking, well, that's how it works. You put it out to the universe, and the universe works to, you had the perfect gown, you had all, and it was just the perfect. So I'm so glad for you. We have been advertising for this, and Nicole is my right-hand lady, and she's the one who came up with what would the lady with the blue hair say. And so we're very, it's all been about hopefully your take on everything. And I hope people will walk away just understanding Lisa's awesome, but she's worked hard, and she's done what you're supposed to do. And your book, and I can honestly say I've listened to it while I've been, yes. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna let you do that. I was trying to be really technology driven today, and I have a picture of it, but I'm afraid I would screw something else up. So if you can show, I know we have some people in the audience that have your book too. Yes, awesome.
And you know what, if you go to saidthelady.com, there's actually links to all of our interviews too. So you could catch the Cody Bateman one there if you couldn't find it on YouTube, but there's links to all of them there. And we had 30 endorsements that are on there too.
Wow. Okay. So you just go to plain old not plain old, because it's very unique. I don't want to sound like that. Oh yeah, it's just the lady with the blue hair. And I remember when I started to listen to that interview on with Cody, promptings, yes, but before I got the book, and it was before I met you. So when I met you, I was like, wow, this is so, that's why I was so but anyway. But can you tell us about this book? Because we've been talking about it for weeks, and I know some of your people are on here that have joined us tonight, but just tell us how this, and I know Jeff West is your co-author, and I hope he's still on. So take it away. Tell us about the book.
Okay, what I wanted to tell you first, though, was how we ended up doing the book. I call it the origin story.
Yes, please.
That's because it's so amazing to me. I mean, it's just something that happened that is just awesome looking back on it, I guess. But a couple years ago now, I wanted to do more with my business. And I know that in order to do that, I need to be around more people. I need to meet new people. I need to step up my game and be out networking. And I happened to be talking to Bob Berg on the phone. I've known him for about 25 years. I was talking about something else, and he was telling me about this new networking group called the Go Givers Success Alliance. And I thought, well, that sounds pretty good. And I know Bob, so I knew it was going to be a bunch of big names and stuff. So I thought, well, I'll do that. So I said, yes, sign me up. And then the first meeting I went to, the first Zoom call, I happened to have blue hair. Now, I hadn't thought it through about showing up at this fancy meeting with blue hair. What happened was my kid has had every cut and color in the universe, I swear. And over all these years, I kept thinking, just once I want to do something crazy and just make my hair some crazy color. And blue's my favorite color. So I thought, you know what? The just once is now. I'm going to start saying yes to stuff. And I'm saying yes to getting something off my bucket list. So I had blue hair. But the problem is I was a little intimidated by the other people on the call anyway. And then I'm sitting there with blue hair. So I'm thinking, I think I'll tell a joke about the hair. Because then at least it's something, I don't look quite so crazy. So I raised my hand in the call and I said, if you want to have less judgment in your life, go ahead and dye your hair blue. This is working for me. I go down to the grocery store and I see some lady in a tight skirt and I'm thinking, man, that lady's got a tight skirt, said the lady with the blue hair. And I said it just like that. And one of the other people on the Zoom call, just like tonight, was Jeff West, who I didn't know. I never knew him before that call. And he put in the comments, just like you guys are talking today, he put in there, that would make a great title for a book. And unbelievably, 2 years later, we have the book and we're doing really well with it. I mean, it's just, we said yes to something, took a chance on each other. It just worked out because we both were willing to do something different outside of our area of comfort, I guess. It wasn't right away. We got to know each other more, I think, being on the calls every Wednesday. And then he changed what he was doing for work more, where he wanted to do co-authoring. And he came to me and said, we've been joking about this long enough. Let's just do that book. And I was still in the mindset of, I'm going to say yes to more stuff. So I said, yes, let's do that. Now, I did hesitate a little because I know me, and I know that once I'm in on something like that, it all encompasses my life. And I'm glad I said yes, though. I hesitated, but I said yes. And it has been all encompassing, but in a good way. I mean, it's been amazing, amazing experience, and a new bestie. I got many new besties, actually. Peg too. Peg's a roommate bestie.
Yeah. Well, now I know you've got a number of books. Yes. And Mom, I'll send you one of these, or we'll get you one, or yes, we'll get to that. But the book, though, you're talking, can you tell us like kind of the setup that, so we understand, because I thought I think I reached out to Peg and I said, I'm getting to the point now where I think, I don't know what's happening next, but I'm kind of anxious. I want to know what's going on. I don't know if I texted her or what we were doing, but I was eager to see how the story played out. So it was very entertaining too. But what is it?
Yeah, let me tell you a little bit about what we did is we spent hours and hours on the phone, right? And Jeff is the writer, but we worked together as far as he was asking me what I teach my team about the rules, and we narrowed it down. I had a whole page of rules, and then he wrote a parable, which is a story that teaches something and is also could be good by itself. You know what I mean? The story itself is good without the rules, and it's just better with the rules. Okay. So the thing with me is that when he was writing it, he was asking me stuff. We were having a meeting, and then like a week later, he'd send me a chapter, and I'd read the chapter, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's me. He's got me. I'm in there." And I was just always so, I don't know, surprised in an awesome way because there was pieces of me in the book. You know what I mean? It just wasn't like one little thing. And people now that have read the book, that are, really good friends of mine, they right away are calling me and go, "Oh, that's you. Oh, that's you." And it's just so awesome. It's even better than if the story was about me, which it's really not, but but it's just, yeah, it's awesome. I love the way, what it is basically, and it's going to be hard now because Jeff's watching me. Yeah, I know he explains this so much better than I do. But right, a single mom. Well, no, okay. So a mom finds herself single, and she didn't expect it, and now she has to move forward, and she wants to be able to provide for her family and stuff. Okay, and she meets up with the lady with the blue hair, and they work about they talk things out and decide what would be a good fit for her. And she, like the lady with the blue hair, doesn't go, "You know what, go in my thing, come sign up in my thing and do my thing with me." That's not what happens. She asks her questions and gets her to think about what would be best for her and her daughter, and then works it through with her, and then helps be a mentor to her as she progresses through. Now, she does happen to pick direct sales, which is awesome. And the rules come in as she's showing her that these rules would apply with any company. So she works her way through. So that was not how I should have described it, but
I think it's good.
I just love the way he says it. But I like the way he wrote it, where the Kai has to figure it out herself. The lady with the blue hair doesn't tell her what to do, doesn't suggest what she should do. She really just says, why don't you think that through? What would be best for you? What do you think would work for your family? Include your values in that. So, I mean, it's better than if she was getting told what to do. And I think that's important. Too many people don't coach, they tell. And then it's got to be a good fit for the other person, or it's not going to work in the long run. So right. I just think it's an excellent way to show a process that needs to be better in general.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I really did. Now there's 7 most important rules, or I'm sorry, I wrote it down 7 top rules that you have in the book for success, right? I mean, they're called your top rules, right? The
yes.
7, yes. So I guess maybe, can you give us your top 3, maybe?
Yeah, the top 3.
Yeah, 7 of them.
The reason they're called rules, by the way, is that had something to do with
oops, sorry everybody. Please mute yourself. I'm trying to figure out. The question is, what costs can we afford? Oh, wait, did I get her? Hold on, Lisa, sorry.
There you go.
Okay.
You got it.
There you go. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I happen to have adopted my son when he was an infant as a single person. So there's no bad cop here. I'm good cop. There is no bad cop. So I needed something to make sure that stuff got done, right? So I call everything a rule. So for example, when the kid says, why can't I stay up past 10 at night when he was 4? I'm like, oh, I wish you could, but there's a rule about that. Oh, what can be done? Nothing. There's a rule. What can be done? So it was actually years before the kid figured out I was the one making the rules, right? So right.
Yes.
So I'm used to calling stuff the rules. And sometimes that's worked in my work too. Sometimes the company genuinely has rules about stuff, but I have rules about moral conduct too in my group that I don't put up with that behavior. So I'd say, gee, there's a rule about that. So that's why, the rules worked when he asked me about that. Now,
Good.
one of my favorites, which we talked about ahead, I think, is the success rule. And I heard that early on when I lived down at the trailer park when I first was, I lived in a single wide, it was like, I don't know, 15 years almost.
Wow.
Single wide, yeah, in a trailer park, eat macaroni and drive in a Yugo. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with trailer parks. It's just that I didn't grow up as a little girl going, "Ooh, I hope I get to live in a trailer park,"
Right, right.
but somewhere along the line, I heard that you can be successful at anything if enough people know what you do. And that makes so much sense to me. And when I was first joined Avon and when I was selling then in New Hampshire, um, they kept trying to teach me to go one at a time knocking doors and to ask for the order that way. And to me, that never made that much sense because enough people, how would I compete even in my own state that way? Or how was I going to make enough money, get enough customers to have enough money? So it made more sense to think if enough people know what I do. So back then and right up till now, that's what I do every day is try to get more people to know what I do. So I actually wake up every day and on, a legal pad, I write, how am I going to get more people to know what I do? So it actually took a lot of pressure off of me as far as I'm not necessarily that good of a salesman or a presentation person. I'm not necessarily a lot of things, but can I get more people to know what I do today? Yeah, I can. I can find ways to get more people to know what I do. Sometimes it's online, sometimes it's in person, sometimes it's doing a Zoom call with people that don't know what I do.
Right,
So
right.
it's just an easy way to boil it down. But amazingly, it's true about everything if you think about it. When my kid was younger, we had to sell cookies, and if enough people knew we were selling them, we sold enough. We had this contest to get a camp scholarship, and we ended up winning the contest because enough people knew what we were doing. But everything's like that because if you have a whole bunch of people, only a small percent are going to do whatever you are doing or want whatever you're selling. So you have to get a whole bunch of people to know what you're doing in order for that small percent to be big. So that's like one of my favorite base rules that you have to really know is you can be successful at anything if enough people know what you do.
Very good. Okay,
Well,
so
you want the other two?
yeah, two. Yeah, two more, please. Yes, please.
Two more. I'll save Jeff's favorite for last. Okay, well, what was the second one? Oh, what was that one? You asked me for one ahead.
Well,
not
Wood
Jeff's
stove,
favorite.
wood stove.
The wood stove rule. Okay.
yeah, wood stove. Yeah.
The wood stove rule is actually rule number 1 in the book. That's because that's one of the first ones I think people need to know. And the reason that I came up with that one is because I'm living in the trailer park. We actually were only heating with wood. And I knew that in order to get heat out of that little wood stove, it was a little parlor stove, that I had to go get the wood, I had to get kindling, I had to get the paper, I had to get the matches. There was a bunch of stuff that went into that. And you had to keep putting stuff in too. You couldn't just do it once and then that's the end of that. You get heat from now on. And my business was much like that. I thought that right away. My business is like that. I have to keep putting stuff in. I have to have a whole bunch of prep to get going. And when I used to sign people up in person, you'd go out, meet them somewhere and have a kit and you're doing your little presentation. And people were saying stuff to me like, I'm not going to buy any catalogs to sell from until I make some money first. And I thought, I don't know, how is that going to work? You have to be able to show them the catalog to get the order to make the money. So I said, that would be great if you could do it in that order. But unfortunately, it's like the wood stove at my house. You have to put the wood in before you get the heat out. You have to buy the brochures before you get an order because the customer won't have anything to look at. So that's why I came up with that to start with. But if you think about it, a lot of things, you know, that rule works for a lot of things, including what friendships, including a lot of things. You have to put some in before you're going to get some out. It reminds me of the Go Giver Success Alliance. I know when I joined that, I specifically did not expect anything. I didn't join it for what I was going to get. I joined it trying to bring enough value to the other members. That was my total intent. And now, how it turns out, I'm probably got the most value of anybody in the group. So it just, I think it works out in the end if you just concentrate on putting in the wood, and the heat takes care of itself when you do that. But you can't expect it to be the other way around. You can't expect to sit on the sofa, get your heat, and then later on deal with the wood. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. But that's now let's do Jeff's favorite. Yeah.
He's the only man in the group, so it could be that's yes. I mean,
you're outnumbered, partner. Yeah, Jeff's favorite is the miniskirt rule. surprisingly enough. And that one is, I always get it messed around. I have to think about it for a second. You want your presentations to be short enough to get their attention, but long enough to cover the goods. Okay, there, I got it. Okay. Now, the reason I came up with that is because I was going out as a leader in the company. I was going out helping to train other representatives to do the presentation when someone signed up. Now, when I went by myself, I would look at somebody's face, and as soon as they were not paying attention to me, for whatever reason, they started playing on their phone or their eyes were rolling back or whatever was going on, I would pack and go and make an appointment to talk to them later. Because once they stop paying attention to you, then you're talking to yourself, right? But I was surprised how many people kept going just because there's a checklist or whatever it was. So my mom was like that. I went to an appointment she had. Generally, my appointments were less than an hour, usually about 45 minutes. She did 2.5 hours. And I got out into the van and I said, Mom, I said, didn't you notice about an hour and a half ago, that lady stopped listening to you? She said, but I have a checklist to complete. So that's where the rule came from. She understood it when I said that. I said, it's got to be short enough to keep their attention, but long enough to cover the goods. So that was just a way to remember that. So yeah, Jeff laughed for 5 minutes straight.
I know. And when we were in Utah, I think you were telling me some of the rules before I even got the book, obviously, because and I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get into the book. And I know that Peg just gave more information on where to get the book and everything else, right? So that is wonderful. And I've seen a couple things. I mean, those are great. And I know that there's much more in the book. And I feel like I've got kind of the inside scoop. If you haven't read the book, you need to check the book out to find out how it all not ends, but how it all begins for Kai and her daughter, Michaela, right? So that's awesome. Oh, Peg has her hand raised. I think we're going to let her talk too.
Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. I just want to say that the reason we're all together now is just a conversation. We were, as was said earlier, Jennifer and Lisa and I were all at Salt Lake City for the Promptings premiere at the Send Out Cards World Headquarters. And we were just talking, we struck up a conversation and we talked about the to the rescue networking and how interesting that was. And then, you know, through the conversation, it was like, do you think Lisa would? And I said, absolutely. So that's why we're here. And we just recapped 3 of the rules, but there are 4 more awesome rules and 3 ways to get the book, Kindle, paperback, Audible. I recommend all 3, but it's wonderful to hear both Lisa and Jeff read the story to you. And if Jeff would be so kind to just give us a little, hey, darling, kind of so we can hear your voice, because that always sells some copies in the Audible version for sure.
I don't think
It's things like that. I've got kind of a high voice. I'm kidding.
Naughty man.
Hello, darling.
There you go.
And we all fall about the place.
she did tell me enough to know that you had a nice voice before I ever heard the book. So I yes, but
You're all very kind. Thank
oh,
you.
you're very sweet. You're very sweet.
Oh, I did say that, Jennifer, didn't I? I said, oh, you're going to want the Audible because of Mr. Sexy Voice.
And you know what was really cool about the Audible was the fact that I didn't know Jeff, but I did know Lisa, and I could hear her saying the stuff that the book. It's just I'm amazed that I guess I don't know all that goes into it, but that was part of my my enchantment with the whole thing anyway, was that you wrote a book with somebody who captured it so perfectly, and yeah, it's just wonderful. I guess, can we open it up a few minutes for some questions? And Jeff, thank you for being here. I worked for Aflac for, I think, maybe a year. I loved them. I loved the products. I worked in Indiana's, we won't go there, but thank you for what you did, because Aflac's a great company.
Well, thank you very much. I had a long career there. I was always self-employed with them. But I was in field management with them for 20 plus years and really enjoyed the time there. They were good to me. It was a good business. So.
Well, it seemed like the products. We just had I think it was human being failure most of the time. It wasn't the product. So
Right.
I don't know if anybody would like to, I don't know if you want to raise your hands, that's great. I guess we can get back. No, I mean, it's fine if you want to. I'm going to go back to gallery so we can kind of see. Anybody got anything you'd like to throw out at Lisa? Or you have any of these crazy women that wore blue wigs? You guys are so funny. Anybody got any questions?
Well, I don't know if not a question, just a comment. Lisa, you've always been an inspiration to me. Side note, I am with Send Out Cards, but for over 20 years, I have sold Avon. Mostly because it's been my stress reliever. My background's new home sales. And so when people would come in yelling at me about their drywall or a leaky bait, whatever, because bad things always happen on the weekends when I'm the only person that they can talk to. So when someone, would come to me, no, I really don't like this shade of red lipstick. Okay, let's change it. Okay. It was like this easy stress relief thing. So over the years, but I've heard your story and I just ordered your book.
Oh,
So
thank you.
I just wanted to
Thank
say
you.
thank you. You're definitely an inspiration. And I have followed you somewhat, probably earlier on in my Avon career, because now it's more of a definite side thing. I have some diehard Avon customers that just won't leave me.
Well,
But
thank you. Did you finish that eagle puzzle? Is that what's behind
I did.
Yes.
Oh, I never
I
could
did.
finish it.
Well,
Boy,
it
you're
was
a
so
genius.
hard. I know
It
it
was
was
so
so hard. I
hard.
told my husband, I'm like, we're either going to throw this away or we're framing it, because I will never, ever, ever do this again, because it was so hard.
I don't even
that
want
was
to know
so
that.
hard.
So yeah, we framed it, matted it all up, and never
Well,
gonna do it again.
kudos to you. That's awesome.
Yes,
Thank you.
Polly and Nicole were doing, they were doing it remotely or Zoom when we were sitting at the
Salt Lake.
and so that they were the two I was motioning to and trying to find them and everything. So yes, we're part of the Indiana team here. So anybody else got anything? Because I'm just glad that you could all be on here, obviously.
Nicole, you had your hand up and then you lowered it. I
please,
know you
please.
want to ask a question.
It
Come on, Nicole.
disappeared. It was right there. I just want to, this is such an amazing time. And the book is just so well written, and it just constant smile on my face, just
Oh,
thank you. You had a message, and then it was like warmth from the characters, from characters, right? From the but yeah, just thank you for putting that in so many ways to listen to it. I've got to listen to the Audible. I know Jennifer has talked about it before on her walks, and Nancy graciously shared her book, which I don't, oh, here it is. I'm showing my daughter. I was like, she
so
was invisible.
should I tell her the secret little story behind the Audible?
Oh, yes, please. I want to know now. Yes, please.
Oh, no, it's just I hadn't done that before. And Jeff said, why don't we do the Audible? And at the beginning, he said he wanted me to read the whole thing. And I thought, sure, I can read. You know what I mean? I've actually even done some radio and stuff. And I thought I can do that. And then he told me it was going to be more like doing a play or something. And I'm thinking, oh, I don't know if I can do that. But and then the other thing was, when Jeff is like a teacher, that's what he went to college for. So whenever I send him something, he usually sends me back a suggestion or him doing it, or like if I send him a paragraph, he'll send it back another example already written. So I sent him chapter 1 of me reading it, and he sent me back chapter 1 of him reading it. And I said, oh my God. I said, do you know women are going to lose their mind when they hear your voice? I said, we have got to find a way to both do this, because you have got the like wickedest, sexiest voice ever. So anyway, so that's what we did. We decided to both do recordings. Now he recorded all of his in a studio. He says I have a home studio, which is my closet, and I had all my stuff up there, and I was kind of panicking a little because of the whole, it needs to be like a play thing. So he was kind enough to be on a Zoom call, and I had the headphones of him on in my headphones, and on my phone I had him on a Zoom, and I was recording using my computer. And when I was reading, he would say stuff like, back up and read that again, or read that slower. And he's saying all this stuff. And I'm not necessarily very good about being coachable, really, at all. So, so every once in a while, I would give him the one finger salute.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
And bless his heart, he stuck with me during that whole thing.
Well, I'll say
But
two
yeah.
things about that. Number one, Lisa really stepped up because it wasn't her comfort zone. I had done things like that, not necessarily audiobooks, but I'd done acting, and it was something that came relatively easy to me, although I certainly had my flubs too. I sent Lisa a reel one time of some of my outtakes. But she really stepped up, and it wasn't her comfort zone, and she did it anyway. And I brag on her all the time. And then something else that you said, Lisa, a minute ago about how my voice just would drive women crazy, and it explains some of the dating relationships I have between marriages. It really does. It just some of those people were crazy. I'm just saying. It was my voice.
It was, and it's a very nice voice. Thank you very much for being here tonight, Jeff and Lisa and Peg. You guys are awesome. I don't want us to miss an opportunity though, and maybe they can find it on said the lady with the blue hair.com, but how do they find your Blue Hair Brigade thing and your live that you do on Thursdays? And because I've been on there a few times. So,
yeah,
but
you can actually find that on, it is a link on saidthelady.com, but on Facebook, it would be facebook.com/groups/saidthelady with the blue hair. I'm pretty certain if you just went in the bar and typed in "said the lady with the blue hair," you'd find it. But it's called the Blue Hair Brigade. And there's about 1,400 of us in there right now. And it was for the launch team to start with. And now we've transitioned to just being a support group for the book itself. And we still put things in there all the time. We like to harass Jeff about his squirrel problems. we have little inside jokes going on, and we also have Thursday night a half hour with us every week. And we do some teaching, some joking, some cutting up, some shenanigans, of course. But it's a half hour of fun every week, and we hope everybody will pop in.
Yeah.
It's a great place to hang out on a Thursday evening. And tomorrow we even have, for the first time, we have guests, best-selling author John David Mann, who's
Wow.
co-author on The Go-Giver, and his wife Anna. They're going to join us as our special guests tomorrow night. So
Wow.
it's
Very
usually
nice.
a pretty fun thing.
Good, good. I don't want to take, I mean, I want to, Nancy has her hand up, and then I think Sue does, or my mom with Wes, but where's Nancy? She jumped. Okay, Nancy, what's your question?
Hey, Lisa, I wonder if you've been in Avon that long, have you ever had an associate that you brought in under you that you realized she wasn't in the right business and you advised her of that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, to me, and I've had people come and go, and I think people come back to me and refer people to me because I graciously let them go if it's not right for them. So I've had people say to me, you know, I don't think this is a good fit for me. I think I'd be better at Princess House. And I said, well, you know what? I've got a buddy over at Princess House. Let me call her and hook you up with her. And because I did that, she later sent someone to me. She didn't come back because it wasn't a fit for her. So, I mean, I think you should always put the other person's best fit ahead of every other thing. Because if I sat there and went, you know what, you really need to stay with me because I need the money or whatever,
Right.
that's not going to work. It's got to be a good fit for her. So yes, I have done that. Have I got flack from it from like leaders and stuff? Yes, I have got flack for that. But to me, it's got to be the biggest priority is the other person's best fit or the other person's, you know, best experience, because there's no way that they're going to all be a fit for Avon. That's not even possible. So sometimes you're just gonna, that's why it's important to have the network of other people, because I do know people at Tupperware and Princess House, and I can hook them with someone that I know will be good with them, that will be a good upline for them. So then I still feel like I'm giving them some value, even though it won't be, you know, on my Avon team. So yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, Mom, I think Sue, Wes, Sue Biddle there has a question, but Mom, do you know how to unmute it? There you go. Good. Okay. Yes, Mom, what's your question?
Okay, I was wondering whether the hair, I've never had my hair blue. I have a few years back, I got into having in October, I believe, is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I got into wearing a pink streak across my head. And you don't keep it indefinitely. You well, it goes away. You know, it gets faded probably, and then but it does open a lot of conversations, which that was a good thing. One time, I think, Jenny, did all of you girls get yours done?
Yes,
that
we
day?
got pink hair too. For a brief moment, we all did. Our daughters did. Yes. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was
yes,
pretty
it
neat.
was pretty cool. So that's a good one, Mom. That's a great one. I think she froze. Maybe you all did. I think I'm the only. Oh my goodness. All right. So I don't know. I think I might be losing you all. Oh, there you are again. Okay. I think I was unstable there for a moment. So, but
Oh, don't leave yourself open, Jenny.
yeah, I know.
I say, I feel you. I feel you. I can relate to that.
Well, I just want to say thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that very much. Thank you all for being here. I really, truly, thank you, Lisa, for working this in, and Peg, you and I've worked and, connected and communicated. Obviously, everybody, Nicole created the thing to put out there. We're going to,
Thank
yes.
you.
I'm very fortunate to have a great executive board, and 3 of them are on here tonight. So thank you, ladies. But the next thing I would just recommend is, yes, thank you, Peg. That's awesome. I'm going to upload this onto YouTube tomorrow. It will be tomorrow because I've got to travel here in a little bit. It'll be out there. We're going to put it all over the place. We'll send it out to everybody that was registered. So I think everybody I'm seeing here now I've got your email. You got here, so you got the link somehow. Just go out, sunladywiththeBlueHair.com, find it, get on there, whatever, reach out, buy the book, buy the Kindle, buy the whatever else. What is there? Kindle.
Audible.
Oh, that's why I listened to it. Okay. Anyway, it's so exciting. Thank you so much for being on. Everybody is so wonderful. Thank you. You guys are awesome. And I thank you. You don't know what a nice gift this was for me tonight too, Lisa, Peg, Jeff. Everybody.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. I look forward to talking to you all again. And thank you. Just have a great holiday. Be safe, please. Thank you to everyone. Take care. And you know what? You've heard it here. You got to give before you're going to get. You're not even going to get probably what you think, but you're going to get more if you give. Just give the gift. All right. Talk to you later, everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.